Welcome to the Push the Wild Black Show. I'm your host, Christian, and this is the Bearscast for week 12. This is going to be a little different because obviously the game didn't just happen. The game happened yesterday. Yesterday was Thanksgiving, and I was unable to record a show like I wanted to because I watched half the game here and then I watched the other half at my brother's house, and family was there, and I wanted to watch the second half again or the game again and do a proper show, but had an errand I had to run, and I'm kind of glad I didn't do what I said I was going to do, and I did my errand because I told my mother I was going to do this. So my mother's 71 years old, and she does not watch sports. She just watches the news. And I'm running a Dollar Tree to run my errand and see if they had a couple things. And as I'm pushing to Dollar Tree, I get a phone call. It's my mother. Again, my mother does not watch sports. She just watches the news. And she goes, "I think they fired your coach." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she proceeds to tell me that on the news that they fired the coach. And she had said, again, doesn't watch the Bears, doesn't watch sports, but watches news. She was saying that, didn't the Bears lose about 7 times in a row? I was like 6. And then my mother said, yeah, they said that yesterday. And I said, they gonna fire him. And sure enough, they fired him. And I was like, are you serious? And she was like, yep, they let him go. And this is something that I've said that I told her in the conversation. And I'm going to start off here. I said that now in my on my personal Facebook, I was like, fire everybody. And I said that because the way they lost that game, when you have 33 seconds and you're not in field goal range, but you got a timeout left, you can run one play to get in field goal range. You have Santos as a kicker. He's a pretty good kicker, if not a great kicker. You should be able to run a play, kick the field goal, go into overtime in a game that you had no business in an overtime situation with. You had no business in that situation at all. It's the Giants. Said Giants. It's the Lions. I'm looking at the ESPN right now, and Giants is like on my screen. You had no business in that get close of a game with the Detroit Lions. None at all. I did not expect them for us to be that close with the Lions. I expected the Lions to punch the Bears in the mouth. In the first half, I watched and this is kind of where, and this is what I was telling my mom. I like Matt Eberflus as a person and as a defense coordinator. And I feel like, as I said last week, he got the raw end of the deal when he got this team because they bottomed out and they bottomed out basically, and they gutted their team and they got a bunch of practice squad players, and they hired a quarterbacks coach in Lou Getty, and they put him on OC, and he ran a specific type of offense. He wanted to run a specific type of offense because he was under Aaron Rodgers, and he was under Matt LaFleur. And Matt LaFleur is the real offensive genius and the real coach, and Lou Getty is just a dude that was overhired. And we saw he was overhired when he was with the Raiders, because after he got the job from the Bears, and he still didn't know what to do. So, and then coming into this season, you decided now when they hired Shane Waldron, I was not against hiring Shane Waldron because the point that I mentioned earlier, and during the Matt Nagy era, there are offensive coordinators that are offensive coordinators only. And when they get head coaching jobs, because the The offense is dope. They want to run a specific system. Matt Nagy wanted to run the Andy Reid system under Pat Mahomes with Mr. Trubisky and Justin Fields, and Lou Getsy wanted to run his offense with Green Bay with Justin Fields, and that didn't work. And they didn't understand what they had, and they didn't understand how to adjust their offense to fit the talent that they have. And I figured with Shane Waldron at first, him coming from the Pete Carroll tree and him and the Sean McVay tree first, and then under Pete Carroll, I figured that because of what happened with Geno Smith in his comeback year, okay, this is a good situation for Caleb to develop under. What I found out is he wanted to run a specific type of thing, and he ran it somewhat incorrectly, because I was listening to another podcast before this week, and they were mentioning about it had something to it was the Vikings game. It was before the Vikings game, and they were mentioning how Shane Waldron offense doesn't really run motion. And that's kind of an integral part of the type of offense they run under the type of offense they ran in St. Louis and LA. The Rams, they kind of ran a motion style offense under McVay. I didn't know that Thomas Brown was also under that tree, but Shane Waldron was, and he didn't really run that motion part of the offense when he was with the Bears. Pete Carroll also said in a soundbite that when Shane Waldron got fired, they unearthed a soundbite of Pete Carroll saying that Shane Waldron doesn't really like using his tight ends, and they wanted to use the tight ends more. And that was something that I was screaming at toward the end of Shane's tenure here, where's Cole Kmet at? Where is he at? As a check down, he should be an integral part of this offense, especially considering you paid him money to do blocking and to do pass catching. But that's neither here nor there. Thomas Brown is a breath of fresh air. I said that last week in one of the comments that I put on my video. And him and Caleb seemingly have connected, and Caleb's been playing a lot better. He's gotten the ball out of his hands a little quicker. He still kind of holds the ball a little bit too long in some cases, trying to make a play. That didn't help him yesterday, but I digress. This is where I agree with everybody else, and this is kind of what I was explaining to my mom too. That's where what I said earlier is kind of where I have mixed feelings about them firing him, because I do think that the offense coordinator situation, it was bad, but despite that, the fact that he was able to call the defense and hang in there and keep this team competitive, that's him. The competitiveness defensively is him. If we're gonna run like if we're gonna have a coach that runs a Tampa 2 type scheme, you got to remember that bend don't break defense. You're gonna get yards. You might get scored on if you don't get turnovers. So it's gonna be a situation there. But ultimately, he was able to keep this team competitive defensively for the majority of the season. Here's where this is what I think got him fired. The 30 seconds not calling the timeout thing and not understanding the situation and not having awareness in the situation at hand and saving your rookie. The fact that he literally made a point to double down on it and say in a press conference that he thinks they did the right thing. You can't do that. You have to own the decision and you have to own the mistake. Like, don't double down on you clearly did the wrong thing. It was clearly a mistake. Don't double down on that. And the fact that he doubled down on that, and the fact that he doubled down on a couple of situations this season, that the Hail Mary game against Washington, where he really shouldn't have put them in that situation anyway, and he doubled down on that mistake, because there was a mistake there, the play before, and a couple other situations that were, dude, you got to own that. That's what got him fired. That, and I believe that he doesn't give good press conferences at all. And when you listen to his press conferences, a lot of media members make fun of him and the fact that he doesn't give good press conferences. So I feel like they were tired of that. They were tired of him double downing on dumb decisions. And when you lose 6 in a row and been embarrassed, this time you can honestly say that was an embarrassment. The block field goal is a block field goal. The Hail Mary is a freak play, and it's a Hail Mary. But this one, you literally got embarrassed by not understanding the time and not calling the timeout. And, but yeah, I'm not going to sit here and say he should never get another head coaching job again, because I've heard that. His defensive ability to call the game defensively, if you have a good offensive coordinator and you have a young defensive team, I feel like he could get another job relatively easy if he wants one. And depending on the situation there, everybody deserves a second shot. Like, Bill Belichick didn't do good his first coaching experience. And I think it was with the Browns. And when he got a chance to coach with the Patriots, Tom Brady just happened, and then it became a thing. So it became history. So they needed to fire him. I get it. I think he was about to lose the locker room if he didn't already. But let's not act like his ability to call the defense didn't keep them in these games, including this one. The Lions have scored 50 on people, and even though they did one trick play this game, the Lions were bullying teams consistently this season, and they didn't. And the Bears, the first half, 3 of the 4 red zone trips, they held them to field goals. That's something. So they needed to fire him. I was pissed off that situation happened, but I hope he gets another job. And I feel like if an offense coordinator situation was a little bit better and he was a little bit more mindful of situations, I feel like the Bears would have been fine. Because this defense is, I was listening to a clip on a radio show concerning this, and somebody said this roster is 8-4, but you're 4-8. I can't disagree with that. Like, this roster, specifically this defense, you have a very good receiving core. You have a top rookie receiver. You have Keenan Allen, older receiver, but he's still good. And DJ Moore, they need to use him more. And the games that they've used him a lot, he's had amazing games. And that is just a professional wide receiver, and you can put him anywhere and he'll be fine. And he's had 1,000-yard seasons with bum quarterbacks. And you have a good receiving core. the running game, Swift is nice, but I feel like they need a second running back. Roshan Johnson is good, but they don't use him very often. So I feel like the running game could be a little better, but we can work on that in the draft and in free agency. The defense is a playoff defense, and Caleb is okay. I still think he doesn't throw the deep ball effectively. I feel like that has gotten better. And he's a rookie. I feel like him on Rome Odunze is they have a very good rapport. And I feel like once they figure out how to use DJ more, then the offense will be okay. I think we got somebody. Although I think we had somebody with Justin Fields too, and he's no longer here. But yeah, they needed to fire Matt. But I'm going to give him his flowers in holding that defense together and making sure that they still was competitive. But you can't do what you did yesterday and still keep a job. But anyway, they're on to San Francisco. Brock Purdy is healthy enough to play, so I'll be interested to see if the defense is still the Bears' defense, and this will get a spark for the Bears Sunday against the 49ers, and maybe they pull an upset. So, anyway, see y'all next week.